BS Show, episode 11. I am your co-host, Sean Gancars, on the phone again with Justin Chasmar. 4-2 week last week in episode 10, getting us back on track. Couple winning weeks here. Overall record up to 31, 24, and 5. Gonzo with another loss Thursday night. First time all year he's lost a couple in a row. He's down to 6, 4, and 1. We're going to need more from him, Chaz. Welcome to the show. What can we do to fix Gonzo right now?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to have a talk with him or something. I need better out of him. That Jags pick was an interesting one, but I don't know. I kind of when he took it, I kind of got behind it. I didn't bet it myself, but because I wasn't touching that game. But I mean, they just shut out the Colts, and then they go and have that performance against the Titans. But like we said all year, the Titans are. You never know what you're going to get, and last night proved that again. So, still have no idea what this Titan team is about, but yeah, we'll get Gonzo figured out, and he'll be back next week with a guaranteed W.
Yeah, I personally like the Titans to win, but I was kind of all over the Jags covering that spread. I thought 5.5 was a lot in that game. 5, whatever it was, that line went all over the place. I've seen it as low as 4, I've seen it as high as 6, and then I've seen it at 5, 5.5, pretty much throughout most of the day. Really thought the Jags were going to cover that one, keep it close, coming off a win. Maybe they looked like they found something again defensively, which is it's what they're made out of the past 2 years is their defense. And to shut out a Colts team that was red hot, I thought they had a chance to come out, maybe keep it close with the Titans. But let's talk about Derrick Henry's game, because I don't think I've ever seen anything like that. That was unbelievable. The 99-yard run was unbelievable, and if you have him on your fantasy team in the playoffs, you're off to a good start right now.
Yeah, I drafted him the last 2 years, not this year, thinking that he would take over that lead role, and I've been saying it now for 3 years in a row that Derrick Henry should be the lead guy there, and last night I think he finally showed the world why he should be. And he's very, very talented, and I think a lot of people, the knock on him is, one, his speed, and 2, his catching ability, and both of those things I think are very underrated for him. And obviously last night he hit a 99-yard touchdown run, so you saw his speed, and the dude can catch the football. There's no reason that he shouldn't be a 3-down back in this league, and I think last night was his coming out party, and going forward, I think he should be, and I think the Titans need to realize that and give him that role for that team.
Yeah, he looked very good. Almost gives us a feel on what this Titan team can be. Because if he could stay, you're obviously not going to expect 200 plus and 4 touchdowns every game, but if he could run the ball, give you close to 100 yards and score a game, almost gives that Titans team something to look at and could make them a threat. They've been very good defensively for the most part all year, and to find anything on the offensive side of the ball, which has been their struggle all season, is huge for them, especially down the stretch of the season, that wide open wild card race right now. But you never know, a game like that maybe gets Derrick Henry going, maybe get the whole Titan team going. Thankfully for me, you did not draft Derrick Henry this year, because you, as a 2-time defending champ in our fantasy league, is about to go down this week. I don't think you have a third in you, and I need to take you out.
It's a big week for me. I defended that belt last year, and doing it or attempting to do it 3 years in a row is definitely no easy feat, and definitely with a couple injuries, but it's going to be a very close matchup as the projected score shows early. But like I said to you, I think either one of our teams can win this league. So I think I'm going to go on record right now and say the winner of this week, me and you, goes on and wins next week.
Looking at the matchup, I like that chance. I'm pretty confident that whoever wins our matchup is getting to the championship game. But I need it. tough loss last year. You in the championship game. Watch you win it 2 years in a row. I need to get one, so I'm hoping.
Yeah, this is big just because we face each other in the championship, and the way that matchup came down on Christmas night. You had the last 2 players, and I thought I was done for. And the Steelers stopped scoring because they were up so many points on the Texans. So definitely going to be a close game or a close matchup this week, and we're gonna be together for it. So a lot of shit talking.
Oh yeah, ton of shit talk. Needed more from Martavis Bryant last year, but looking back at it, I might have been begging. But no, in that game.
New year, couple new teams, and
completely new team.
If someone's going to take me down, though, which I hope is the case, I can say I'd probably rather be you than some other people in our
folks in the league. I agree with that too.
Yeah.
Occasional guest on the show, good old Chris Keyser. His team, you made his team better by giving him McCaffrey, even though you didn't really give him.
He made my team better too.
He's I'm glad that whoever wins, I won't have to see him to the championship game. That's all I'm gonna say about that league. But
yeah, he's gonna get foosh.
Yeah. All right. Full slate of games here. We had the Thursday night game we talked about, but as we mentioned, buys are done, so we still have 15 more games here. As we do every week recently, we're going to start with our teams. They go to Washington, where the Giants are traveling, take on the Redskins. Huge blow for the Giants this week, who have looked like maybe they could turn a page and gain some momentum going into next season, but Landon Collins' shoulder surgery out for the year. Redskins took another huge blow last week against Philly, where they lost Colt McCoy, and now it's the Mark Sanchez show there. But all these injuries on both these teams. Skins still have lost 3 in a row. The Giants seem to be a team that's heated up and been playing well recently. I'm going to take the Giants because there's no way I'm going to pick Mark Sanchez to beat my team, and I think it's close. I got them 24-20 in a game where the Giants are 3.5-point favorites.
Yeah, not many situations you'll have a 6-6 team, 3.5-point favorites over a 4-8 Giant team, but in this case, rightfully so. And I'm going to go with you. I'm not going to take Mark Sanchez to win a football game, even if they're home against the Giants. He showed me enough last week in his effort in Philadelphia, and I mean that wasn't an easy situation to come into. He didn't know the playbook, and obviously no one thought Colt McCoy was going to break his leg. But Mark Sanchez came in that game and did not play well. I mean, he went 13 for 21, 100 yards and a pick, no touchdowns, and a QBR of 13.3. That's just not going to cut it. And with a team like the Redskins, who just have been decimated by injuries this year, and they're just falling quickly. They've lost 4 of the last 5. And the one thing that has always kept this team in games and winning games early on in the year was their defense, and especially their rushing defense in particular. But that has been thrown out the window these last 5 games, allowing 134 rushing yards over those last 5 games. So this could be a Saquon Barkley field day, and I don't think Mark Sanchez can put up many points at all to keep up with the Giants. I'm going to go with the Giants winning this one, and I'm going to have them covering as well. I'm going to go with the Giants 20-14, low-scoring game, but I'm just simply not going to take Mark Sanchez.
Yeah, that's a tough take. First snap, though, he does hand it off to Peterson. He goes 90 yards for a touchdown. Not expecting that this week.
No. And then AP didn't even end with over 100 yards. He had 98.
Yeah, it just shows how the rest of his game went. Absolutely nothing. Your game this week, though, next one's a huge one when your Ravens travel to Kansas City. Huge battle of offense versus defense here, pretty much. You got arguably the best, if not second best offense in the league. Best defense in the league, probably, in Baltimore, one of them. And the Ravens right now, your Ravens are rolling 3 straight wins, back in the playoff picture. Believe holding on to that 6th seed right now.
Yes, sir.
And those wins, though, when you look back at them, do come against Cincy, Oakland, and Atlanta. So they have the win against Pitt early in the year, but right now they're still kind of looking for that prove-it win still. But in Arrowhead says a lot. It's going to be very tough for Baltimore. Chiefs are favored by 6.5 points here. I personally think that's too many because the Ravens' defense is good enough to keep them close, but I don't think it's going to be enough. I'm going to take the Chiefs in a close one here, 27-24.
So, I actually am going to not take the Ravens again, but I actually think the Chiefs will cover that 6.5. And when I looked at this game, Marlon, there was a couple injuries that I was keeping my eye out for. One, obviously, Joe Flacco. 2, Marlon Humphrey, their number 1 corner, who's played at a Pro Bowl level this year. Didn't practice Wednesday and Thursday. He actually practiced today, and they said he looked like he had no limitations, which is absolutely huge. But then they don't have Tony Jefferson. It's not looking like they're going to have Tony Jefferson in a safety position. This game, I think, is the game that I thought was coming last week, where the offense is going to be just too much, and Lamar Jackson is not going to be able to bring this team back. And Joe Flacco practiced in full today for the first time since his injury. I think he's going to suit up, but he's obviously not going to start. I think the Ravens lose this game, and then I think they go to the drawing board, and I hope they realize that I'm sticking with what I said last week. Joe Flacco is their quarterback for this season for their playoff run. And this game, I think Lamar Jackson finally loses. If you look at Lamar Jackson last week, he should have had 3 fumbles in the first half alone, which would have changed that game completely. And they didn't win the game last week because of Lamar Jackson. They won the game last week because of their defense. And Lamar Jackson is very, very lucky that he didn't lose a couple of those fumbles where he should have. One bounced right back to him. Another one, the lineman got it. And, he's very careless with the football right now, and against good teams, that's not going to be okay. And with Patrick Mahomes on the other side, he's going to put up points. And this Ravens defense is very, very good. But the Chiefs' 2 losses they've had have been shootouts. The Ravens will not get into a shootout. They're just simply they win by defense and running the football and controlling the clock. And if the Chiefs get up early, which I think they will, that's going to take away that aspect of the Ravens game. It's going to fall into the Chiefs' hand, and I have a bad feeling about this one. I actually have the Chiefs winning and covering. I got the Chiefs winning 33-20.
Got the winning big. I
got a bad feeling about this one, and I think it's just a wake-up call for Joe Flacco.
Yeah. No, I think the Ravens lost here. If Flacco's healthy again, that's kind of all it takes for them to go back to him for his final stretch here. Lucky for you, obviously a tough game here, and the loss hurts, but doesn't kill you. You're still in a spot where win some games down the stretch, get in that AFC.
Yeah, it was a big loss last week by the Colts. And obviously they play Houston this week, so it's a tight race for that 6th seed, but the Ravens win, them losing, and the Dolphins are in there. There's a couple other teams in there, but I like the Ravens' chances. They play the Bucs next week, so at home. A loss here doesn't kill them, puts them to 7-6. I said before the season they were going 9-7. I think that's actually going to happen because they still got to go to the Chargers too. But Joe Flacco needs to be there after this week.
Yeah, he does, and that Colts-Texans game is where we go next. Texans looking for their 10th win in a row. Colts last week just flat out didn't show up against Jacksonville. Their first loss in over a month, but an offense that has been rolling with Andrew Luck during that win streak. Couldn't even put a point up on the board against a Jacksonville team that has lost 6, 7 games in a row going into it. And T.Y. Hilton truly right now is a game time decision from what I read earlier today. Hopefully he plays. The Colts are going to need him. And when I look at this game as a whole right now, though, the Texans are just too hot. They have a chance to pretty much lock up the division here. They get a 3-game lead with about 3 games to go. And I think I'm going to pick the Texans to win this one on their home field. -4.5. I got the game right on that line, so if you're going to take it, I'm going to recommend to buy the half point. But I like the Texans to win in a game that won't be surprised if it turns into a shootout, because I think the Colts offense is going to come out swinging after that debacle they had last week. But I'll go Texans 28-24.
Yeah, I think my prop or my futures bet is dead, and that Colts loss last week was a dagger. And I can't pick against the Texans right now. They're too hot. They're at home, and this all happened. This all began, this Texans run, if you remember, in Week 4 in Indianapolis, when the Colts decided to go for it, 4th and 4, they didn't get it. Texans got like a 20-yard play, kicked the game-winning field goal. Now here they are, 9-3. So, and like you said, this Colts team is going to be banged up heading into this week. I mean, if you saw their injury report, like it was like their whole offense, and that's like other than Andrew Luck, and that's not a good start to the week when you're going against one of the hottest teams in football, especially in a game that if you want to make the playoffs, you need to win. Houston can mathematically eliminate Indianapolis from the AFC South title if they win. So then the Titans would only have a shot. As a Raven fan, I'm going to be a huge Texans fan this Sunday because the Colts are obviously fighting for that 6th seed with the Ravens now. But like I said, I just can't pick against the Texans teams at home. A big divisional game. I think they get it done. I'm going with Houston, 30-24.
Yeah, I'd imagine you'll be a huge Texan fan. Tough way for your future bet to get killed losing 6-0 to a Jacksonville team that has been brutal to watch.
Yeah, it was really tough. I was really mad.
That's not what you need. Next game, where I need a shootout if I want to beat you in fantasy this week. Atlanta traveling to Green Bay. Pack's first game since firing McCarthy here. Both these teams, though, have been disappointment. Just in general, offenses especially almost. Neither team is even averaging over 25 points a game right now. Pack lost 3 in a row. Falcons have 4 losses in a row. So, kind of hard to get a feel for this game. You don't know how they're going to play and show up. But watching the season, I've seen the Falcons play good ball a couple times this year, and unfortunately just couldn't find a way to win in the end. But because of that, I've seen them play better ball than the Packers had. I'll take the Falcons in the upset here. Hoping for a shootout, banking on a shootout. Over-under is 51.5. My numbers would be going over a lot. I got the Falcons 31-27.
You're praying for that shootout, and I'm praying for it to be a 3-0 game. Yeah, this game is. I feel like we're both gonna be biased in this one simply because of our fantasy matchup.
Yeah, but it's very fair.
But no, in all seriousness, both these teams suck this year, and that's. I mean,
it's simple as that.
Yeah, but if you looked at this. A lot of games this year, I've said this, but if you looked at this game on the schedule in the preseason, like, people would be pumped about this game. I'm sure people before the season obviously bought tickets to this game, and now here they come at 4-8 and 4-7-1. And, Packers, it just summed up their season last week with the loss to the Cardinals. They fired Mike McCarthy, Joe Philbin coming in, but I'm not going to lie, I'm scared. I think Rodgers is going to have a big game. Joe Philbin, Aaron Rodgers had his best game or his best year of his career when Joe Philbin was calling the plays for Green Bay. And that concerns me because I think he's going to let Rodgers just sling it. My hope is that the Falcons can't score in this one, and I think that is actually going to happen. It's going to be 27 degrees to kick off, and I haven't seen enough of Matt Ryan outside and in cold weather games produce. So I don't think he's going to do it here. I actually like the Packers in this game. The Falcons, not to mention, you said they've lost 4 straight. They're averaging 17 points in those games. Going to a 27-degree Lambeau Field, I don't think is going to be the cure of that. I don't see them scoring more than 17 points. I'm going to have them scoring 17 this week. I'm going with the Packers, 27-17. Praying for a lot of rushing touchdowns.
Yeah, I'm going to need more than that. Just need a quarterback duel here. Hoping for it. Hoping the Falcons can maybe find something again, but yeah, it's honestly, it sucks that this game has to be a disappointment. Because honestly, even if both these teams won last week, like, we both picked them too. This game even has a little meaning something because the winner of this game would honestly still have a shot at a wild card spot, but the losses last week kind of just put these teams' season to rest almost. And
yeah, it is a shame because Matt Ryan and Aaron Rodgers, 2 of the better quarterbacks in the league, and it sucks that both their teams are just not good this year.
And yeah, well, next team, I don't know if I'm ever going to learn with this team. Carolina, -1 in Cleveland, and honestly, I kind of wrote down one little note that I took from this game. It's literally the fact that I will never learn with this team. I don't know what it is that Carolina is. They lost 4 in a row after their 6-2 start, but I still look at it as they're 6-6, right in the middle of the playoff race, and I've seen this team play good football before. For some reason, I still buy into them, and I'm going to pick them to win this game 30-24.
You really don't learn with these guys, do you?
No, I'm not selling out on Carolina. I don't know why, but
this team is. I can't say what's wrong with them. I don't know. They can't finish football games, and the last 3 games they've lost have been by 7 points, 3 points, and 1 point. Tampa Bay, Seattle, and Detroit, and
well, Cleveland's the team to finish against because they'll probably be the ones that fuck it up.
Yeah, but that's definitely fair. But this Browns team, I mean, listen, I took them last week in Houston, but that was because of my prop bet that got put laid to rest by the Colts. But them playing at home is, I think they're going to be ready to play in this one. Their only 2 losses this year at home have been to the Chargers and the Chiefs, but I'm not going to take the Panthers until they can prove they can win a close game. I'm going to go with Cleveland here, simply because this Panthers team, they don't know who they are. They're not doing anything really right now. I hope this game's a shootout. I hope Cam throws 6 touchdowns, but he threw 4 picks last week, so I need something better from him this week. But I'm going to go with the Browns here. I'm going to take them winning 28-24 and adding to this Panthers losing streak. And Cleveland is going to be a happy place on Sunday.
Yeah, I think I'm still bought into Carolina because of another fantasy league where I traded A.J. Green to get Christian McCaffrey in. I think that made my team the best in the league, but I don't know. Something about this Carolina team where I just feel like there's too much talent on it. Maybe lack at a wide receiver position, but other than that, there's too much talent on this team for them to be as bad as I think they are. Like you said, they just can't finish these games. They're losing close, but I've seen Cleveland fuck a lot of these games up too, and maybe Cleveland can do a job for them. Screw another one up here, but I'm sticking with Carolina.
Yeah, and the pressure is also in this one all on Carolina. The Browns they don't have anything to play for. They're 4-7-1, and they're at home, and so I mean they're going to play loose, and and Carolina on the other hand can't play loose. They're going to be playing like their season depends on it. Because if they lose, they're going to drop to 6-7, and they know it's the Browns, and we know the Browns are better this year, but it's still the name the Browns, and I think they're going to. I don't know. I have a feeling with the Browns this week, but like I said, I hope Cam has a field day.
Just wait and see a game. Unfortunately, we got bad games too. That doesn't mean you can't bet them. Jets and Bills. Bills minus 3.5 in Buffalo here. It was just a few weeks ago where the Bills spanked the Jets 41-10, and that was with Matt Barkley in the pocket. And I mean, Buffalo literally just picked him up off the street not long before that game. It looks like Sam Darnold should be back for the Jets. Don't know if that means much the way the Jets are playing recently. Finally had a chance to win a game last week against Tennessee and just absolutely blew it at the end, which helps me when you have Tennessee in a teaser. But, like I said, Bills went into MetLife, spanked them up 41-10 with Matt Barkley. They got Josh Allen now. Yes, Darnold's back for the Jets. I'm not expecting Buffalo to come in and dominate them again 41-10, but I am expecting them to win the game. I got it 24-16.
Sam Darnold, Josh Allen, episode 1. First matchup of these two guys, both franchises hope to see for a long time, and I think the NFL will see for a long time. Darnold's first game back, and like you said, I don't think it matters. This Jets team they're bad, and they were just 3-3, 6 or 7 weeks ago, and here they are now 3-9. And averaging 13 points a game in their 6-game losing streak. That's not going to cut it. And when you're going to Buffalo, a team that just waxed you a couple weeks ago, it's not really looking good for them. Going up to Buffalo is a tough place to play, and this Bills team is playing well. I mean, if Charles Clay catches that ball last week in Miami on 4th down on that heave by Josh Allen, the Bills are sitting here at 5-7, and this could actually be a really big game for the Bills for the wild card scenario. But it's not. But I still think this Bills team is just playing much higher level than the Jets, and I'm going to go with the Bills here. I'm going to take them winning 17-10. And I'm interested to see if Josh Allen can run for 100 yards again for the 3rd straight week.
Yeah, it's kind of surprised me what he could do as a runner. Knew he had an ability, didn't know he had an ability like what he has been doing. 100 yards a game is just not what you expect from Josh Allen on the ground. Next game, staying in the AFC East here. Pats in Miami. Brady has a history of struggling in Miami. Not that it's bad, but he has lost some games there before in the past, and it's just something about playing in Miami. I watched an interview with him, and he's talking about how you play the Jets and you play the Bills. He plays at home. It's obviously all in this general Northeast area that we're in, but Miami's just down south, completely different climate, and he really doesn't know what the struggle is. It's just something about going to Miami. I don't think, but then again, I say it every year, I don't think that matters this year. Pats 7.5-point favorites is a lot, but they're trying to keep pace in an AFC where the Chiefs and Texans are doing really good. Obviously, record-wise, they're up there. They're still fighting for a bye, possibly home field in the playoffs. I'm sure they want that because nobody wants to go to Foxborough in January. And I'm going to take Brady and the Pats to win here. Line's 7.5, and kind of like that Houston line where talked about maybe buying the half a point. I would do the same thing here because I have the Pats winning 27-20.
Yeah, Pats are going to win this ball game, but when you look at it, this matchup is very, very interesting, and it's due to the fact that Tom Brady struggles in Miami. And weirdly enough, Miami has won the last 4 or 5 games against the Pats in Miami. And that is very, very interesting when you look at that. So I don't think the Patriots lose again. I mean, they lost last year there. I think the Dolphins will keep this game close, though. But I really wanted to take the Dolphins to win again. But the reason I didn't is because they're not going to have Xavier Howard, their best player on defense, number 1 corner, who leads the NFL with 7 interceptions. He's had 4 in the last 2 weeks. The dude is playing at an absurd level this year. So without him, I think that's a huge blow for them. That's going to cost them in the end. But like I said, I think they keep it close. But at the end of the day, Tom Brady, who, by the way, needs 1 touchdown pass to break the all-time record for passing touchdowns, he's tied right now with Peyton. He needs 1 to take it over himself. So obviously he'll get that. But I think the Patriots will win this game, go to 10-3, get over their hump in Miami. But I think 7.5 is too much. I'm going to take the Patriots winning this one by 4. I'm going pretty close to your score. I'm going 24-20.
Okay, yeah. And then place, like I said, where he struggled in Miami, I'm sure he'd love to break that record in Miami. Just have something under his belt there. Teams that struggle, Saints struggled against the Bucs way back in Week 1. And now they got to go to Tampa. Obviously, the Saints came out, rung off 10 straight wins after that loss in Week 1, but lost last week to Dallas and is still sitting there at 10-2. Tampa with 2 straight wins, so kind of have them on the outside looking in the playoff race. They're going to need some help and going to have to beat a Saints team here. Not looking likely, but it's got them back in it. But I think they're getting the Saints at a bad time. We've kind of talked about this earlier in the week. I'm sure the Saints are out here looking for revenge. They've obviously been a much better team than they were in Week 1 because their defense was non-existent that week, and now they're sitting with the best rush defense in the NFL. Secondary starting to come around in New Orleans a bit, and I think Breeze and company come in pissed off, looking for revenge, and I got the Saints winning big. 9.5 point favorites. I got them winning by 11, 35-24.
Revenge game, and for my fantasy team, because I have Drew Brees, I'm very excited for this game because he screwed me last week. So I'm praying he doesn't do it again. I'm praying he obviously has a big game in this one. Revenge game though. Week 1 this year, Ryan Fitzpatrick goes into New Orleans and shocks the world, and now the Saints get to go there and give them a taste of their own medicine. Different quarterback for the Bucs, as James Winston is playing for them. But this game's going to be interesting. That 9.5 point spread is big. I actually don't think the Saints cover. I think everyone in the world thinks the Saints will cover it by a lot. So I'm going to go the other way. Obviously, I'm going to take the Saints to win this game, but I'm going to take the Bucs to stay within those 9.5 points. This Bucs offense can score, so I think they're going to score with Drew Brees. But at the end of the day, I think Drew Brees and the Saints will be too much for them. Big loss though for the Bucs again this week. No Deshaun Jackson, which obviously is big, but James Winston, the last 2 games has not turned the ball over, which obviously is not like him, but that's why the Bucs have won the last 2 weeks. I don't think he keeps that trend this week. I think he's going to turn the ball over once or twice, but he's going to put up points. And I have this a high-scoring affair, but I think the Saints win. I got them winning 38-30.
Yeah, we both have high scorers there. Both our scores will go over that 54 total. You're actually going with Godwin in fantasy against me this week, or is that a bluff?
Honestly, I don't know. It's going to take till Sunday, probably at like 12:30 to make that flex call.
Yeah,
I played him last week in my cousin's league, and he gave me 25 points.
Scored twice, I believe.
With no Deshaun Jackson. He's had every time Deshaun Jackson has not been in, he's gone off, and I mean he's playing the Saints. So I'm interested. I'm torn between three guys, but I'm gonna keep a close eye on that.
Yeah, I need Mike Evans, obviously, so hopefully he can come through for me. Bengals and Chargers next one. The Bengals just can't catch any breaks this year. AJ Green comes back and bang, now he's out for the season. They're already without Andy Dalton. Chargers 14-point favorites at home here. Obviously, the Bengals have so many injuries and not much to talk about this game. I see no problems for the Chargers here. I got them 31-14.
Ooh, we're close on that score. Yeah, I feel bad for AJ Green, man. He's out for a couple of games. He comes back, and every reporter is saying, "Why are you coming back? Are you going to play this week?" And he said, "Hey, as long as I can play, I'm going to play. I don't care if we're 0-15 or 15-0." And then he gets hurt early in the game last week. I think he had a catch for like 10 yards, and then he got hurt on a weird play. I don't know if you saw the video. He's breaking for his route and just stops and holds his foot. And it's just a bad situation in Cincinnati. It went downhill really quickly because early on in the year, this team looked like a team that maybe could get over the hump this year with the way that Dalton's playing early and AJ Green was killing it early and Joe Mixon was looking good and you have the emergence of Tyler Boyd, and then it just all went downhill. There's nothing bright about this team right now. I mean, Joe Mixon, yeah, he's a good talent, but he can only do so much. And I mean, the Chargers should have no problem in this one. Coming off a huge win in Pittsburgh, which, by the way, I'm still very shocked you picked against the Chargers last week when you have.
Yeah, I know. It backfired on me. That's what I get.
Yeah,
you deserve.
That was big though for us. I had the plus 3.5 pick.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just had a feeling on that one, but that was an awesome game. By the way, that game was one of the best we've seen all year, if not the best.
Yeah, that game was absolutely all time. Chargers looked dead at one point, and for them to come back, win that game on the road, makes me feel a lot more comfortable about them possibly getting out of the AFC and maybe winning this Super Bowl. Took a shot on them when I bet them to win the Super Bowl before the season, so hopefully they keep that up. Thursday night's game is absolutely massive when they play the Chiefs. Looking forward to that one.
I think this game here though against Chargers, I think it's just a tune-up. I don't think it can be a trap game. There's nothing. This Bengal team can't play that role. I don't think they don't have enough playmakers. This is just a tune-up for the Chargers. It's giving Melvin Gordon another week to rest. And I'm going to go with the Chargers big here. I'm going to take them 31-10.
Yeah, and I mean the Chargers, as of right now, too, are still behind the Chiefs in that division, so they really can't take anyone lightly. They're going to have to win to keep pace with that team. And Thursday night's going to be a fun one. They're going to have a chance to make that division race real interesting down the stretch.
I really hope I hope Melvin Gordon is able to play so they're at full strength, and I'm really going to be looking forward to that game, and that's going to be the Gonzo pick this week, which is
what a game for him to get back on track.
Yep.
Broncos and Niners here. Broncos probably the biggest blow for almost any team this week when they lost Emmanuel Sanders for the season. This team was just starting to heat up here. Won 3 in a row. Had wins against the Steelers and Chargers. Traveling to San Fran here, 3.5-point favorite still, but not an injury you want if you're Denver. that with that AFC wide open, a chance to get another win, really make a push. Their schedule isn't all that difficult down the stretch, but that one hurts. I still think they're able to take care of a 49er team that has not won since November 1st and is still sitting at 2 wins, but the 49ers, I think, keep it close here. Broncos 3.5-point favorites. I got them winning by 4, 24-20, but I almost feel bad for that Denver team to have an injury like that happen to a guy during practice.
Yeah, it not only hurt the Denver Broncos, but it also hurt you as a post, which is my fantasy team. I also have him in another league, so that hurt me. But
I got Sutton though on all 3 teams.
But for this Broncos team, though, it really is a massive blow. A veteran who is playing way better, I think, than anyone expected him this year to play, and it really sucks that his season had to end like this, especially with the way the Broncos are playing right now. So they just lost Sanders on the offense. They lost Chris Harris on the defense. It's a shame because this Broncos team, I think, is a very good team, and I think with the emergence of Philip Lindsay, I think they could sneak in. If the Ravens were to fall out, and this Broncos team can definitely, I think they have the recipe to win in the playoffs if they were to get in, run the football and play good defense. But this game is just, like I said, Sanders is hurt, Chris Harris is hurt, and you flip it on the Niners. Matt Breida got hurt last week. So there's a lot of injuries on both sides of this one. We almost have the same exact score. The only difference is you have Denver covering. I don't. I'm taking the Broncos 23-20.
Okay.
I think that half point is going to play a big part in this one.
5.5 point.
But this game's going to be a very weird game. I don't know who's going to score for either team, but I think our scores are very, very accurate. And but yeah, I think the Broncos escape San Fran with a W to keep pace with the wild card race.
They could use Kelvin Benjamin. I'm just going to say that.
Yeah, more than Kansas City.
Yeah. America's game of the week. Huge for my future bet. Philly at Dallas here. Dallas 3.5-point favorites. Obviously red hot right now. And Philly might be hitting that stride that I've been talking about on the show all year. Still hard to tell, but they have a chance to hit it this week. We talked about this on the show numerous times too. We both kind of love what we've been seeing from this Dallas team. How Amari Cooper's opened up this offense. The defense has been under the radar all year, which really isn't under the radar anymore. I think people are starting to take notice on how good they could be. But if I'm going to win my bet, honestly, I'm going to need Philly to win this game. It's their only hope. Don't know if they do it, but I think they have a shot, and I'm going to pick them to win it. I got them 27-23. Praying for my bet here, probably a little biased, but if they can stay hot, two wins in a row, both in division, chance to win 3 in a row in the division here and get tied with Dallas. Maybe they come out ready to play.
I can't. I know where you're coming from, since I was definitely a little biased in prior weeks with my prop or future bet with the Colts. But this game is, especially for me, living in Philly and hearing all week, Philly radio and people I work with about the Eagles and how they're going to win, and then my biggest thing in this game is Eagles linebacker Grugier Hill comes out and says Dallas chokes. We're going to go down to Dallas and make him choke. Like, I just don't think that's something you say if you're someone on the Eagles right now.
Nah.
You're a team that you're 6-6, and
you can't give them that extra boost.
Yeah, you can't give the Cowboys anything more to play with. They're already playing very, very good football. They just held the New Orleans Saints to 10 points and ruined the win streak. And I don't know why you would try and fire this team up more than they have to be. this Cowboys team just came into Philly 4 weeks ago and embarrassed the Eagles on national television in front of their home fans, and now the Eagles are going to sit there and say that the Cowboys are going to choke. I don't know if the Eagles realize this, but the last 2 wins have come against Eli Manning, who annihilated them in the first half, and they should have lost that game. Yeah. And then guess what? And then what do? You beat Mark Sanchez on a Monday night game at home. Like, I'm not buying into the Eagles. There's a lot of hype, and a lot of Philly fans really think they're going to win this game. Some of the more knowledgeable Philly fans, I think, know that this game is definitely not. They don't feel as strongly about it, especially with how good the Cowboys are playing. But I'm going to take the Cowboys to win here. I think they're the better team, and right now they're the better team by far. I still don't think the Eagles even looked that good last week against the Skins. Like Carson Wentz, they were picking the end zone. He's just not the same as last year. That knee is still bothering him, and it's obvious. The Cowboys win here, and I think they put the rest of the Eagles. And I'm going to take the boys winning 21-17. It's going to be close, but at the end of the day, I think the Cowboys, they're just going to be too much, and I think they shut up all these Eagle fans.
Simply can't have that, but it's a good possibility, honestly. Dude, but I made a bet a couple of weeks ago and feel good about it, so I got to root and hope. And I tell you what, if Philly does win this game here this week, I'm going to be feeling real good about it, although they do have the Texans and Rams on their schedule, too.
They do.
So, they have to win this week, or else, like your Colt bet, that one is dead.
Yep.
Lions at Cardinals. Lions -2.5 here, over under 40.5. And honestly, I can't remember the last time Lions played a game with an over under this low. Neither of these teams much of anything to play for. One thing I do notice though is the Cardinals, as bad as they are, 6-5-1 against the spread, and as I always say, good teams win, great teams cover. So because of that, have a little fun with this. I'll take the upset, pick the home team here. I'll take the Cards 21-20.
Yes, we're both taking the upset. Let's go. Yes. And these are usually the games that, I say and you agree, or you say and I agree. No one really gives a shit about this game. Don't bet it. Don't do this. But hey, this game, I'm taking the Cards in this one. They're coming off a big win in Lambeau. I think they keep that train. I think they keep that train rolling. I don't think they're a good football team, but momentum is key, and this Lions team is just not playing good football. I think David Johnson has a field day on Sunday at home against the Lions defense is just not good. I'm going with the upset as well. I got the Cardinals winning 23-21.
All right, I like it. You got them one by 1, you got them by 2, but when they're 2.5-point dogs, just win the game.
That's
it. Much bigger line here in Oakland. Steelers 10-point favorite as they travel on the road. 2-game skid for the Steelers here. Lost to Denver, lost to the Chargers. And then on top of that, you got the James Conner injury, which hopefully it's nothing too long for Pittsburgh. Jalen Samuels time for the Steelers and for myself. Need a big game out of him. But honestly, Steelers lost 2 in a row. Ravens creeping up on them in that division. All of a sudden, only a half game out. But I think this game comes at the right time for the Steelers. Hopefully they can fix things here in Oakland. Good game for Jalen Samuels to actually maybe get on track if you're going to need him more than you think down the stretch here. And I got the Steelers coming out swinging in this one, winning 35-20.
This game, it could not come at a better time for the Steelers. 2-game skid, and what else? I mean, you get a 2-10 team now. I know you got to go cross country, but the James Conner injury is a big blow. And at first, it didn't look like it was that serious, and Tomlin said it wasn't that serious, but he got ruled out on what, Tuesday, or Monday. Like, that's not a good sign. The Steelers team. I mean, obviously all season we know the Le'Veon Bell drama. Well, you have James Conner, so you don't need him. Well, guess what? Now he's down. So now you got the Jalen Samuels and Stephen Ridley show, and those 2 guys are your top guys. So what does that mean? That means Big Ben is going to come out in this game and probably throw the ball 55 times. And I think this is a very big Ben game. I think Jalen Samuels will have a decent amount of catches in this one, which I don't want. But I think Ben is. The Steelers team is funny because they can come out and they can run the ball 30 times, or they can come out and Big Ben can throw the ball like he did against Denver, and throw the ball like 50 times. And I think that is the recipe for them this week. I think they get back on track in a big way this week. I think Juju and Antonio Brown have big games, and once again, I'm going to take the Steelers winning this one and covering. Steelers winning 34-17.
Yeah, Steelers, I feel like they're kind of like a Chiefs, where no matter who you put in the backfield to run that football for them, whether it's as a runner, as a receiver, their running backs just seem to do well. And D'Angelo Williams did well a couple years he was there when he played. James Conner has obviously been doing very well all year, and Le'Veon's self-explanatory, so hopefully Jalen Samuels against this Raider team can give me something, but yeah, when it's all said and done, we both like the Steelers here, and they need this win to get back on track.
Yeah, I mean, me personally, I hope they lose, but this is not going to happen.
No, I don't see it. Sunday night, massive game in Chicago. LA Rams traveling there. We got the Rams -3 here, over 51.5. And they're traveling to Soldier Field, where the Bears were 5-1 this year. Only loss came because Kevin White caught the Hail Mary at the 1-yard line and didn't get into New England. Mitch Trubisky expected to be back for Chicago. And this whole game really goes on this Rams offense versus the Bears defense. And honestly, when I look at the matchup, I really like how the Bears match up in this one. They got one of the best rush defenses in all of football. I think they have a good chance to keep Todd Gurley in check. Khalil Mack, get to golf a few times. He's always all over the field. And when like I said, when I look at this matchup, I think defensively the Bears match up very well against the Rams. Very good at home, 5-1 at home, and they're not going to obviously shut out the Rams, but I think they could keep them in check enough. Rams defense has been a struggle at times this year. Mitch Trubisky has a couple monster games this season too, and I think he's to be able to put up enough points. I think the Bears defense does just enough for the Bears to win this game 27-24.
Both going with the upset again. I like it. I think this game is going to go very similar to the Cowboys and Saints game we saw last week, and where a very high-powered offense comes into a good defense, and I think the defense wins. And this Bears defense it's something else. And last week was when they played in MetLife. It was the trap game, and it showed. They didn't play well. They also had Chase Daniel. Getting Mitch Trubisky back is going to be huge for them. But I think them coming home, they have had this game circled on their schedule for a long time, I can imagine. And I think Chicago is going to be ready to roll for this game. Not only the players, but the fans and the city. And I think this game, I think home field obviously plays a huge part in this one. This could be a early playoff preview, but probably flip roles. The Bears will probably be on the road. But I think in this game, I'm gonna take the Bears. I think their defense is just too much. Yeah, they're gonna make Jared Goff make some bad decisions in big big moments or sack them, something. I'm trusting the defense here, and I think the Bears can put up points because the Rams' defense just simply isn't good. I actually have this game as a 1-point game, but I'm going to take the Bears winning 24-23.
All right, yeah, we're pretty similar there. Both our scores actually technically go under, mine by half a point, yours by a little more.
Yeah.
And then we get to the Monday night game, and we got the Sunday night game. You got the NFC West leader versus the NFC North leader, and then Monday night game comes in with the two teams in second place in both those divisions, fighting for those two wild card spots here when the Vikings travel to Seattle. And as much as I'm looking forward to that Rams-Bears game, I'm actually really looking forward to this Vikings-Seahawks game. Like I said, huge wild card implications here. And when you look at the matchup, Vikings are slightly better defensively, Seahawks a little better offensively, especially when you look at points per game. And the key matchup here is the Vikings struggle at running the ball, which is key to beating a Seattle team that's allowing a good bit over 100 yards per game on the ground. If you can't run the ball, you're already going on the road here. I think it's going to be a struggle for the Vikings. And because of that, I'm picking Seattle. They're 3-point favorites here. Over-under's 45.5, and my score prediction is right on everything right there. I got 24-21, 45 points, Seahawks winning by 3.
So I also have this as a push. I'm going to take the Seahawks as well. I think they're just a better team. And I've been saying it for a few weeks, and I know we've agreed on it. The Seahawks team looks like a dangerous team if they can get in the playoffs. And sitting at 7-5, they, I think, are primed to get that playoff spot. And, when you put Russell Wilson in the playoffs, especially with the identity that the Seahawks team has now with their run game, and I think the Seahawks team can definitely go somewhere and pull off an upset, whether it's L.A., Chicago, wherever it is. But I think at home, in a hostile environment, I don't think Kirk Cousins is going to be able to make enough plays to pull out a win in this one. I'm going to take the Seahawks winning 27-24. So I bet a push, but I have it going over.
Okay. Probably the Seahawks and over, probably. 4-2 last week. 31-24-5 overall. We are one more winning week away from being back up to a pretty decent number here. I went first last week. Tough and interesting week this week because usually I kind of have an idea when we talk about the games, where you're going, where I'm going, and I don't even have a guess for where you're going, and I'm not even totally sure. I got 5-6 things marked down here, but you go first this week. What are your locks?
All right, so this is definitely an interesting week. There's a lot of lines that I want to take, but I'm too hesitant on. I know one of these you're not going to like, but that happens every week. Yeah, I don't like one, you don't like one.
Yeah.
That's just how it's going to go. And but that's going to be the third one, I say. First one, I'm going to take, me and you both agreed on the over. I need it for my fantasy team. I'm going to take over the 54 in New Orleans and Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay can score, and the Saints being held to 10 points last week, I think, and being on 10 days rest, nonetheless, I think they're going to come out firing. And I think Tampa Bay can keep up with them, so I think it's going to be a high-shooting affair. Second game we both agreed on as well. I'm going to take the Steelers minus the 10 points. I think it's just a game that Steelers team just gets back on track, finds their identity. And, I mean, they're just a by far better team than the Raiders. I know the Raiders covered against the Chiefs. I don't think they're going to cover against the Steelers. I think Big Ben is going to light it up this week, and actually a pretty good prop bet. I don't know what his yards are or anything, but might have to look into that one. So Pitt minus 10, and then my third one, which I know you don't like because you picked the upset, but I'm going to go, and I might regret this one, but I'm going to go with the Packers minus the 5 points. I'm going to trust Joe Philbin, and it sucks because I don't want Aaron Rodgers to do good this week, but I need to face the fact that he's going to. I think Joe Philbin's going to take the chains off Aaron Rodgers, and Aaron Rodgers, I feel like, was a little held back with Mike McCarthy. He didn't agree with his play calling. I think Joe Philbin kind of unleashes him a little bit this week against a decimated Falcons team, and I have them winning by 10 points, so that covers the 5. I'm going to trust Aaron Rodgers playing well, and I'm going to trust the Falcons not playing well in cold weather at Lambeau. So I'm going to go with Green Bay minus 5. So those are my 3. Let's hear what you got.
All right. Your first 2 right off the bat, not going to lie, number 1 and 2 on my list. So now we're getting interesting here, and we just both picked it last week. I had the over. You had the Chargers, same game, different people picking them. But now I'm going to tell you right now, my first 2 picks are coming from the same game. One, because I'll never learn, but this team is due to win a game. They're bound to win a game, and that's Carolina. Only 1-point favorite. It's literally win or lose pretty much with that. And I'll take them minus the 1. I think they're finally going to win. But what I was also go with in that game is over 47.5. Both these teams allow over 25 points a game. Cleveland's offense, little speed bump against Houston last week, but they've been clicking a little better for the past couple weeks. McCaffrey's had this Carolina offense going decent bit. I mean, he's going for almost 200 scrimmage yards a game and almost a score every game. And like I said, both defenses that allow at least 25 points a game. So over 47.5 in this game will be my second one. Also, like I said, I got the Panthers winning 30-24. That number hits with ease. And my third and final one, I know you didn't like it. You liked the Bucs to cover, but I'm going to take the Saints in a revenge game here, and I think they're going to win this game. 9.5-point favorites, so the fact that the 10 number actually hits and doesn't push makes me feel a little more comfortable too, and I got them winning by 11, 35-24. I think their defense is much better than, obviously, what we saw in Week 1 against them, and like you said when you talked about the over for that game, which I love, they're going to be able to put up points, and hopefully our defense can just make the couple more stops that they didn't make in Week 1, and that should be enough for them to win this game by 2 scores.
So we got 2 games this week that have massive implications for our locks.
Yes.
We got, that Carolina game and New Orleans game is going to make or break us.
It is.
So hopefully it goes our way. Because if it doesn't, that's a tough 0-4 right there.
Yeah.
But hey,
we had a huge. I mean, that Charger-Steeler game was big for us last week, and it came through huge.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I just couldn't go Eagles plus 3.5 for obvious reasons as much as I wanted to.
Yeah, I'm glad you did.
Yeah, as much as we both like the Bears to pick, it's tough to pick against the Rams to lock that in.
Yeah, I agree. I was gonna go. My fourth one was gonna go with the Cardinals.
Yeah, I thought about it. My fourth one was actually another big spread. I was looking at the Chargers. I think they should win that game by 2 touchdowns. But 2 touchdowns is always a lot of points in the NFL, too.
Yeah, that is true.
No night games this week.
No what?
So no night game this week.
Oh, yeah.
It's all right. You'll know early if you got a winning day.
What'd you say?
Said you'll know early if you got a winning day. Throw money in the 4 o'clock games and the night games anyway.
Yeah, Yeah, that's true. I'm usually big in the night games, but obviously none of these games. Well, the pit games are 4:25, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
So we got one 4:25. Oh, yeah. So, but yeah, a lot will be known after 1:00.
5 out of 6. Like I said, you'll hopefully have a lot of money to huck around during these 4 o'clock games and night games.
Yeah, hopefully we know that we killed it with the ones, and then we can splash load on the Bears, and that's the game plan.
I'm gonna confidently throw on the Bears money line if we have a good day. Confidently.
Let's go Bears.
That's it. All right. Another full slate next week, and tune in and find out who won the fantasy matchup between me and Chaz.
Yeah, that will also be determined after Sunday.
Yeah.
We do not have to wait till Monday, because
I don't even think I have an option to play a Sunday or Monday night game.
What's up?
So I don't even think I have an option to play the Sunday or Monday night game with my team.
I have options, but
I see them, but
don't know if I'm going to go with them. I can pretty much guarantee you it won't get drug out till Monday. It might get drug out till Sunday night, but that is TBD.
I looked at your team, and if you were putting any of those guys in the night games, I wasn't going to hate it. It's all I had, but
it's a TBD situation. But yeah, we will know Sunday who's moving on.
Find out next week. I think it's going to be me.
That's going to be me, baby. Got to go for that 3-peat.
Someone's got to stop you.
What's up?
Someone's got to stop you.
Someone does.